Hi, this is Harry Kroner, a catalyst of spiritual awakening. Today I'd like to talk about the politics of oneness and separateness. What's important about this? It is really hard to see the world and how there's a really mass difference between the world view of someone who sits, let's say, on the left and the right of the political spectrum. Now, feels like it's just more than just way of thinking and understanding politics about specifics, topics, education, environment. It's not about those things. It's a really different worldview and perspective on what things are. So the real difference between the two is, on the one hand, the belief in oneness, and on the other hand, the belief in separateness. Let me explain that a little more. On the one hand, you see that people who believe in oneness and the oneness of us as humanity, oneness of us with the world, our interdependence and our connection to everything that is in the world, and therefore the need for care of the world. And to the next level is the oneness with the universe, oneness with God, the essence, source, however you'd like to call it. It's the oneness of all that, and understanding they were all integrated, interconnected elements of the one. So, and on the other hand, there's the oneness, understanding everything is in integrated parts of the one, and on the other hand, there's separateness. And there's the separateness from us and God, us and source, separateness from us and other people. So everybody who looks different, everybody who feels different, everybody who thinks differently is separate from us. Every human is alone. Every human is away from all other humans, and we are simply living and interacting with those we're more like, but really and you can see that the xenophobia of hating the other, hating the thing. And but really, the best example of separateness, the ideal version of separateness, is actually libertarianism, for example. That's the closest thing. Why? Because it's a complete separateness. I do my own thing, you do your own thing. As long as we harm no other, everything is good. Everybody lives themselves. There's no collective sense. There's no collective work unless we decide to do so. So that's complete separateness, in supporting that element of like, we just do our own thing. I'm not connected. I want to completely separate from everybody else. Now, so where does conservatism, for example, comes from? It is the combination of separateness and fear. So when you think about what fear are about, so if I'm separate from you and you think differently from me, and you are becoming a threat to my way of life, to becoming a threat to my belief system, a threat to my environment. So if the fact that others, there's a caravan coming up now of people, only like 3,000, 5,000 people, and some perceive it as a real threat to the livelihood of 330 million people. So it really is really a myopic way of seeing things. Is it's really a distortion. How are they becoming a threat to your way of life, threat to your livelihood, a threat to your environment, and they're coming and invade. So that's all based on fear. That fear and bring isolationism. And we see that, and again, isolation is just another word of separateness. I do not want to be connected with anybody else. I want to just stay here, protect my own self because of fear. So it's separateness and fear that creates isolationism. So as we see that and really explore how does that reflect everything else? So that separateness, also how it reflects the environment. Environment is separate from me. I'm not dependent on it. It's not dependent on me. I can do with it whatever I want. It is separate from me. I don't feel it's part of me, part of the one, of a bigger thing, part of God, if you like to see it. And this is why it's so interesting to see that several different Christian groups, for example, they're all Christian, but they sit on those opposite parts of the spectrum, because parts of them really take what Jesus was really teaching about oneness, togetherness, and that element of love, really, of complete love. And so that complete love and oneness with everything that is shown on that left part of the spectrum, that are there and doing the charity work and doing support and doing all they can around the world. And on the other end, those who are ruled more by fear, and they are trying to make sure that their voice and their point of view is be stronger than other points of view. Otherwise, it is a threat to their livelihood. So this is how you can really summarize it. It's really a difference between love and fear, but more specifically, is a difference between oneness, understanding of the one, and a separateness, understanding we are completely separate from each other, separate from God, separate from everything. And this comes from the basis of Judeo-Christian beliefs that we are separate from God, separate from everything else. So it has really strong basis in our way of thinking and our upbringing. So how do we bring it now to this day and age? It is really the understanding that we are one. We are all one, not just humans. We're not just, this is not just like a hippie, lovey, kind of dovey thing. We are responsible for each other. We are interconnected. There is a sense of duty and understanding that this is not just about me, and I am part of the one. And this is why I want to bring it to the next level here, in the spiritual level. We are not separate from God or the one or the universe. We are part of God. We are part of the universe. We are an element, an aspect of it. So a lot of people ask me, what is the purpose of existence? What is the purpose of this whole thing? It is a diversification of the one who would like to experience itself in different expressions, different elements, different perspectives of itself. So for example, if I have one hand, all my fingers are different. Well, every finger has a slightly different job. Every finger is slightly different, so it can do its job to perfection. And in different perspective, different elements, different abilities. And just a quick example. We all have different gifts, different traits, so we can really explore and continuously diversify the way the one experiences itself. So this is about understanding that we are part of the one. We are part of God. So take that and start really see how that shifts your way of thinking and being. This is quite a profound shift for most. And this is what really separates the believers in self, really, because it is a belief in self of the oneness. So before I take it too far, just allow yourself to notice that everything between the spectrum of complete oneness and complete separateness, a lot of people say mostly around somewhere in between, because some people feel the separateness, although they believe in oneness, and some people believe in separateness, but they understand that there's some elements of oneness. So that the whole political spectrum can be explained in that way, and it can be applied into every element, whether it's education, whether it's the environment, whether it's business and how we conduct each other, rules and regulations about each other. And so it reflects in all that. So I hope this helped you in getting a slightly deeper explanation and understanding of the real difference and how we are striving as we move towards ascending towards our next level of human evolution, which is a spiritual evolution. It's that belief in oneness and that belief in coming closer to understanding we are part of the one. All right? I hope you enjoy this. Be well.